Hey guys, how you doing? This is Benjamin with Benjamin Exotics, and this is the second video we're going to do today on feeding snakes. This isn't actually going to be feeding the snakes though, but I'm going to cheat, and I'm going to show you guys what we got going right now. So, as you can see, that girl's just eating away. She's better than the other one. The other one's a little bit more nervous, so I'm not going to be in here too long, and I got all the lights turned off, so she is in the best possible environment. But as you can see, focus. She's also just sitting there chowing down the rat. And I'm not going to watch the whole thing because it could take like 10 minutes. But what we're going to talk about today is going to be what to look for in your live feeder or frozen feeder rats. Now, frozen feeders are a different ball game and they're a lot harder to tell with. And that's one of the downsides to getting frozen. But as we know, and what is the main philosophy here at, I guess, Benjamin's Exotics, and, you know, with all we specialize in. And, oh, by the way, she also did not take, but she's back under her paper towel. Basically the main philosophy here at Benjamin's Exotics and what I look for in all my animals is quality, quality, quality. If you put crap into your reptiles, I don't care what the genetics behind them are, you're going to get out crap. So, food is, I mean, you have to meet, of course, water and heating and everything, but food is the most important, you know, basic thing, in my opinion. Everything is needed, but food is one of the most important. So, without getting bit, see what we can do. So I'm actually not going to use this guy as an example because he's a perfect example of, he couldn't really give you too bad of a chomp, but he's something that could give you a small bite maybe. Nothing major, but I don't want to take one right now. So let's use this guy right here. So when I'm looking at my, live feeders, there's a few different things I'm going to look for in them. And the first few things I'm going to look for, if I see this on the rat, we're not going to feed it off to the snake, basically. So this is your basic feeder. Let's talk about pinkies first of all, because pinkies are the easiest to tell. With pinkies, you don't want any weird white dots. You can have black dots if it's just part of the fur, but on your baby pinkies, like, you don't want weird white dots sticking out because those could be tumors, okay? Again, probably wouldn't do too much to your snake, but it's just not a good idea. Also, for your pinkies, one great way to tell if they've been getting food or not is to go ahead and look on the bottom of the rat. And as you can see, this guy is really nice and fat, and we'll talk about that in a second. But with your pinkies, when we flip these guys over, you'll actually be able to see a white milk band or a milk ring. And if they have that, you know that they've gotten milk very recently, within the last, probably hour or so, from their mother, and you know they're being well fed. Because with your pinkies, I mean, when it gets down to it, if they don't have that extra milk in there, if they're not getting fed, they're basically crap for your snakes, because they're not like these guys. These guys at least have decently developed bones. Pinkies are just, fresh out of the rat, okay? These guys are not something that's going to have a whole ton of nutrition, so we have to make sure that what nutrition they do have, they hold on to. And he's just going to crawl up my arm, I guess. But so with pinkies, you don't want to see little white dots, of course, which are tumors, and on these pinkies you can also see little white circles or like a little white oval on their stomach that you can almost see through the rat, and that is going to be a determiner that they've been eating from their mother. Okay, so those are the main things with pinkies, because pinkies are the easiest to identify. Now we're going to look at basically all of the rats, including fuzzies, like these guys. We don't want to see any patches where they don't have any fur. Like if right here on his back he had some white skin underneath that was puffed up and it had, no fur growing out of it, that is, a key sign. And I've seen rats like this of infection. If we're talking about frozen rodents, you can also have that, but that's just freezer burn. If they're freezer burned lightly, you're fine. If it's anything over lightly, I'd throw them away, because overall it's not going to be worth it just to save you some money to feed it to your snake. So that's with freezer burn. But with live rodents, all we're really looking for is we're looking to check basically the vent area, legs, make sure they don't have any open wounds, no infection, check their head, especially their eyes. One great way and key indicator to tell if these guys are having any problems with their bedding or, being too dirty is look at their eyes. And if their eyes have any sort of like yellow pus coming out of them or like crusty crap, you know that your rat or the rat that you had has been being kept in dirty or too wet of conditions, which is, normally feces and, urine and stuff like that. So as you can see with these guys, the supplier I get them from is absolutely great. I've only ever had one problem with a frozen feeder from him that I got. I got a bunch of mediums back in the day, probably 2 years ago. One of them came back, had not a tumor, but it was pretty bad freezer burn on its head, and I didn't feed it to my snake, took it back, they gave me 2 free. So, that really worked out pretty good. But as you can see, just looking at this rat, you can tell, look at him. He's big, he's thick. You know, you don't really want to describe a rat that way all the time. Ooh. But he's big, he's thick, he's healthy. He's a little fatty, okay, basically. And that's what we're looking for in our rats. We're not looking for obesity, but it's pretty hard to get obesity with these guys. And as you can see, he's going to the bathroom all over me. But he's a very, very good, you know, size. Now, let's see if we can look at this guy real quick. I do not want to get nipped. But same with this guy. He's cute. He's losing some more of that, you know, baby fat, but he's starting to, you know, you can look at this rat and tell that he's of good quality. Now, this guy's a little bit smaller than the other one, but as you can still see, a little bit smaller, not as fat, but he's still good. He's not like skin and bones. If you have rats that are skin and bones, your snake's not going to get very much from them. Don't feed them to your snakes, because, again, they're wasting their energy to get that rat, and they're not getting, you know, more in return. Whatever energy they output is you want to get them more input, right? So if they output, I don't know how many calories a snake would take, but if they output so much energy, you want that rat to be worth more, so they're actually getting some. But if it's just skin and bones, they're not going to be getting it. And you don't see that much as a problem with the babies, because the babies, you know, have all that milk and fat from their mother that they were given. But when we're looking at mediums and stuff, you guys got to watch out for that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Just a few tips for how to check the quality of your rodents. Again, make sure you're going from a quality supplier. If it's somebody local, make sure you know them. Try to see if you can get their setup. I know what he uses. He uses a Missouri rodent pellet, basically, food. He goes through like probably 400 pounds, I think he said. 400 pounds he goes through in 1 week. So he's a pretty big, you know, rodent breeder, and he supplies lots of the bigger guys. I'm not saying I'm big, but lots of the bigger guys that I know that are having, you know, hundreds and hundreds of snakes in Ohio. He's supplying them. So make sure you guys find a good guy and a good rodent supplier, so you guys are getting the best quality food for your snakes. And just take these few tips. I'm sorry I keep dropping the rats, but just see if you guys can take these few tips and make sure you can apply them, you know, in the best way possible to get your snakes as healthy, happy, and as thriving, you know, as possible. So if you guys did enjoy this video, if you liked the video, please give it a like, even though there's some poop and stuff in my hands. If you guys, you know, like the channel, of course, please subscribe. We upload videos every single day, basically. If I miss a day or so there, you know, here and there, I apologize for you guys, but basically every single day. And, of course, if you guys have any questions or any comments on this video, please leave it down in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.